Yo, party people in the place to be. What's good? It's the number one Chief Rocket in Knicks universe, your main man, Uncle Freezie. Welcome to Old School Knicks. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Let's get this party started. My main man, Anthony D, my brother, is on the way. And I want to start today's conversation. I want to start today's conversation. First of all, let me salute the chat, right? Let me do this. David L is in the house. David L, I actually saw when you posted. I was like, yeah. David L is in the house. Wiz is in the house. My main man, Kaiser Sauce, is in the house. Okay. Sherwin is in the house. Andrew College is in the house. What's good, y'all? Man, Pudge Nice is in the house. What's good, brother? Angel Torres, what's good, man? I see you. I see you. Okay. Wayne Peterson is in the house. All right. Allah Wise is in the house. Okay, yeah, man. I see. Ed Winning, what's good? Philip Casanovas was good. Okay. JM, what's happening? Kev Guapo is in the building. The son of the legend, Kerry Cox, is in the building. What's good, everybody? What's good, y'all? Hey, man, listen, I want to start this conversation off with something kind of obvious, but something kind of not. Right? I want to start the conversation off with something kind of obvious and something that's kind of not. Right? So here is the thing. Yo, D Blocks is in the house. Okay. I see you. D Block. I see your boys out here busy. I see your boys is out here busy, man. So I want to start this thing off with stating the obvious, but then stating things that might not be obvious, right? So let me state the obvious. The Knicks, though they are a great team, the Knicks are probably right now, as we sit, with no changes, right now are probably a top 6, top 7 team in the NBA. Don't dispute it. We lost in the second round of the playoffs. So don't dispute that. Right? That's where we are. That's not up for debate. Those are the type of things that we don't want to debate. Yo, Rome is in the building. Queens, get the money. Right now, at this moment, our New York Knicks are probably a top 7, top 6 team in the NBA. And though we have a bunch of flaws that we feel like we have, I think the Knicks are probably better right now than about 70% of the league. Right now, with no changes, with zero changes, with zero upgrades, the Knicks are probably in the 73, 74 percentile of talent in the NBA. Right? But is that where we want to live? No, we don't want to live in that space. The Knicks want to be in the top 90 percentile. And we have flaws that we recognize. Right? The Knicks have flaws that we recognize, right? We need more offense from the center position. Though our center is probably better than 75% of the teams in the league. I would put Mitch in the 75 percentile, right? We would like our starting power forward to be more consistent. But if we're being honest with ourselves, Julius Randle is in the top 85, top 90 percentile of power forwards. Though he's flawed, and we know it, right? He's flawed and we know it, right? But we don't want to just occupy that space. We'd like to ascend to a higher plane, right? We like to ascend to a higher plane. We don't want to be, you know what I'm saying, where we are, just a second round team. We aspire to a championship. So if you just loan me your ears for a moment. Loan me your ears for a moment as I break this thing down and show you how we are really good, but we also have areas of improvement. Right? The team is really good, but yes, we also have areas of improvement and areas of frustration, and those are two separate things on two different hands, right? Because I understand that certain areas of improvement can be frustrating, but our frustration is deep rooted in something else that leads to minor things frustrating us, right? It's kind of as if it's the straw that broke the camel's back. And the reason why I say that, let me explain the frustration thing really quick. I'm going to give you an example. It's 2023, right? But say if the Knicks had won back-to-back titles in 2017 and 2018, then what we see today wouldn't frustrate us as much because we wouldn't be carrying baggage of previous generations. So carrying the baggage of previous generations is what's going into the frustration of where we are. And listen, I don't care. Listen, I get it. We're all adults and fans, and we're old enough to understand like where we are or whatever. So we understand that the baggage is a part of it, right? So when we see Randle choke in the playoffs, we're like, oh God, dog it. That means it's gonna be 51 more years of not winning a championship. As opposed to, hey man, this cat went out here and did his best. He flawed. He make me sick. He out here doing stupid stuff like flipping off the crowd and crying to the refs instead of playing ball. We would be saying those type of stuff more often and frequently and having an earnest conversation about that. AD, when you're ready, let me know. I see AD backstage. I don't know if you're ready or not. So yeah, we do have flaws and we do have blind spots. Like our blind spot is we don't go out and get wing players. Right? Them boys is in the building. I'm gonna check to see if AD ready.
Yes.
Hey, everything all right? You good?
Hello? I'm ready when you are, baby. Sunday.
I didn't see the camera.
I don't want to disturb your groove. You know,
no, I didn't see the camera. That's
here,
why
baby.
I didn't know. I didn't know. What's good, man?
What's going on?
Hey, man. I want to get into this thing just really quickly, right? To ask your expert opinion on some things and
Before I do that, let me say good morning. Let me say good morning to the Knicks family out there. You know, sorry we wasn't able to rock with you last week, but you know how that goes. You know, sometimes we need to recharge the batteries. We need to come back out. Freezie need to get the Bible study verses ready to go. You know, we were in a no Randle zone for a good minute there, and then I click on. And I'm like, is that Randle argument I had?
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. But thank you for joining us again on this ride of old school Knicks and beyond. Let's get it.
Let's
Bad,
get
Freezie.
it. Let's ride. Let's ride. Captain coming. Ride. Let's go. Let's get it.
Let's ride. Hee ha. Hee ha. Hee ha. And dangerous. Straight up weed. Exactly. Let's go.
Yeah, man.
Yo, it's hotter than fish grease in my house. But AC stopped working this morning. I'm sweating bullets off this piece.
Bro, what? Yeah, yes, I had the same thing going on yesterday, bro. I was like, what in the world is going on?
I swear to God, I saw Charlie Daniels doing The Devil Goes Down to Georgia and this morning. I was like,
in the kitchen.
Hell, good Lord. Woo!
God, it was hot this morning. Yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
My bad. Let's go.
Nah, man. Nah. No doubt. I the reason why I called you earlier to ask you this thing. I want to ask you this thing. Could this one move correct all the bad juju from previous regimes, and not just the Paul George move per se, but could a one move or two moves in succession correct everything bad that has happened to us and our bad feelings about it?
I think it would be more the latter.
Okay.
Multiple. He's not at this is not 5 years ago.
All right.
It's not Paul George from 5 years ago. So he's not at that level. He's a piece. He would be a piece to the puzzle. You know, as long as he understands that he's not the driver anymore, you know. You know, not that he ever really was, no disrespect to Paul George, but injuries and, you know, and playoff futility has stained his career. But you would need multiple pieces. Paul George, something else, maybe something else.
I would say this to you. I think Paul George, just adding Paul George, wins us a championship.
Oh. Wow.
Right? And so and the reason why I say that is not because of adding players together and hope they can win, but schematically, Paul George covers up all of the weaknesses that we have on this team. Right? All of them. Chat. If y'all name flaws in the Knicks schemes, offense and defense, and I guarantee you Paul George fixes it. And yes, you can start with Mitchell Robinson can't shoot. Right? Start with Mitchell Robinson can't shoot.
Mitch can't shoot.
Right. Start with Mitch can't shoot, and I'm gonna tell you how Paul George fixes all of that. Right?
Well, he fixes, or his presence and what he can do on a court helps some. But like I said, I don't. If you had said this 5 years ago, I'd have been like, hell yeah.
Right.
I'd jump on board with that.
Right.
But he's the kind of player to me that he's quintessential number two.
Okay.
You know what I mean? He's quintessential number two. Who I don't know if he still does, but at one point in time, he dubbed himself Playoff P.
Right.
You know, and without even looking up anything or whatever, his playoff performances have been
okay.
So I don't know if you're saying that because of what he has around him, that he would just fill the cracks and be that bond for everything else. Guy next to Brunson, check. Small forward, wing, check. Can defend,
3-point shooter,
can shoot threes, check. Secondary playmaker, check. I'm there with you. As It's just I'm not giving him any extra money. That's another thing. If you believe the reports that, if he gets traded or whatever, he's already looking for the new deal, which is his prerogative.
And you better give it to him too.
It's his prerogative to look for it, right? And it's my prerogative to say, get out of my face. Okay? It's my prerogative to say that. I would
because you like RJ. You want to keep RJ and Grimes. Right. You don't want to take that next step level player. You don't like Bradley Beals or Zach LaVine's or Paul George's.
I can't believe you said
or Donovan. I'm trying to figure it out but let me say this. Because you said 3 points and this is my biggest pet peeve with y'all, right? Y'all will say 3 points in one sentence, and then what happens is the first 2 points that y'all make, nobody even remember them, right? Right? So they because I would go back and watch the stuff. I'm like, this dude had 5 good points in one sentence, and all they remember is the last thing that you said. Let me start by saying he is not a number one. Right? Let me go back to that. Right? You know who else was not a number one? Magic Johnson.
Oh, Jesus. Oh my God.
You know who else was not a number one? Scottie Pippen.
Okay.
You know who else was not a number one? David Robinson. You know who else was not a number one?
Not that.
No. Hey, listen, hear me out on it. David Robinson never won a championship by himself. But you know what happened when he got Tim Duncan? All of a sudden, he's winning championships. Right? You know who else was not a number one for the Miami Heat? Dwayne Wade. You know who else was not a number one for the Shaq and Kobe Lakers? Kobe Bryant. Right? The whole number one, number two thing, I think is our fan way of justifying, why this guy couldn't do it by himself. But winning championships, man, is hard, man.
But Freezie, now you're, and I get it. This is when you do what you do the Freezie thing. You throw the Molotov cocktail and you're like, fend for your lives.
Dr. J is not a number one.
Oh gosh.
Dr. J didn't win a championship until he got Moses Malone.
I'm gonna throw up.
Right? These are the things. You see how weird chat, y'all see how weird these narratives get? He's not a number one. You know who's not a number one? Clyde Frazier is not a number one.
How can he not be? What? You need to define number one.
You
need to clearly define number one. And you can't mix would-be 2s and 3s with people on Mount Rushmores of basketball.
Bro, what I'm saying to you, bro, is if that is your argument for not getting Paul George, just consider that Joe Dumars and Dennis Rodman were not number ones.
For obvious reasons.
Right?
For obvious reasons, they're not number one.
Dennis Johnson and his greatness was not a number one on 2 championship teams.
He might have been at times number one on that old.
Yeah, with downtown Freddie Brown and all of them. Because he did step up in the playoffs.
You better believe it.
Yep. So I get that, but my point to it is you don't have to be a number one guy to contribute to a championship team.
No, you do not. No, you do not.
That's the point that I'm getting at with it.
No, you do not. But you're so gung-ho with the very thought of getting Paul George that you done went into the deep end. You done went into the deep end and you can't swim. You see, Paul George is a good player. He's been one of the best players in his generation, right? But by himself at 33, going to be 34 years old, he does not give the Knicks all of that. Would he have been in this past series against Miami? If we had a healthy Paul George with what we had with Brunson and so forth, whatever, I like my chances. Right? But beyond that, for me to say I get Paul George and everything else, he can do everything else. You cannot depend on today's Paul George the way you could have 5 years ago.
Right. Russell Westbrook in his prime was a number one. Guess how many championships he's got?
Russell Westbrook in his
prime. Was Pat Ewing a number one?
Of course, but for different reasons. You have to be able to show when you say when I think of number one, right? I'm thinking of the guy that day in, day out shoulders the load.
Okay.
And not just in the playoffs.
Okay.
Right? That's when I think of number one. I'm thinking
like
about
Julius Randle.
He would be a number one because he before Brunson got here, he shouldered the load.
Yeah.
Whether you liked it or not. Right?
Yeah.
He just, when you get to the playoffs, whatever, he incomplete. But nonetheless, he's still trying to shoulder the load.
So we prefer Randle over Paul George. I'm asking, bro. I'm asking. I ain't trolling. I'm asking you.
I think overall, if you're asking me would I take Randle or Paul George, yeah, I would take Randle or Paul George because availability means everything to me.
Okay.
All that other stuff is good, Nilly, but if you're not here to play, then you're not here to be 1, 2, or 3, or 4, or 5 because you're not here. But that's that's a separate conversation. But let's stay on with this, with Paul George being able to do everything. No, I don't think so. If I got him today, I'm getting him with the feeling of, all right, this is nice. What else do I do now? Because remember when the Knicks got, in the business for D Rose Part 2. Right? Because D Rose had a great second half and a good playoffs, what did they do? They couldn't see the forest from the trees with him.
Okay.
He was a player at the same 32, 33.
Okay.
The last jolt of his athletic gifts that he had, because when he came back that second time, he looked faster than 22, 23-year-olds.
Okay.
Nifty, blocking shots, this, that, and the third. What happened after that Atlanta series? They gave him a new contract. Since they gave him that new contract, I think he's played like 50 games.
Yeah.
We got to be careful here, Freezie. See what I'm saying? I'm all in on it. I would absolutely make a move for him, but it has to be, I got to temper my enthusiasm. I got to temper my enthusiasm for what I expect. I got to temper my enthusiasm for what I would give up. And I got to temper my enthusiasm for how long I want to be in the Paul George business.
Okay.
You understand? For me, I want to be in the Paul George business 2 years.
Okay.
2 years.
Yeah, that sounds perfect to me. You know what I'm saying? What I'd like to do is not waste Jalen Brunson's prime. You know what I'm saying? So, but hear me out, When I say such things, I get so much pushback. Like, yo, what do you mean, Brunson? Yeah, just relax. So this is what I'm gonna say, right? This is what I'm gonna say. This is what I want to say. Brunson to me is a megastar, and Knicks fans don't know it yet, right? Because Jalen Brunson,
I would agree,
is in the mold. And I said this the other day, and cats fainted on me. They were like, "Uncle Freezie, you crazy?" But Jalen Brunson is a player in the mold of a Calvin Murphy, Isaiah Thomas, Allen Iverson, where you're going to get a diminutive player that's all offense, no playmaking or passing, but you have to put elite specialized players around them. You have to put Paul George type players around Jalen Brunson for one, to keep him healthy, and for two, to get the peak performance from that player. If you don't put that around Allen Iverson, Calvin Murphy, Isaiah Thomas's,
it's a sideshow.
Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf's.
Right. It becomes a sideshow.
All it is scoring and no wins.
Yeah.
And you don't want that.
Yeah.
That's why the smart teams recognize the Calvin Murphy model early and then bring guys in immediately to put next to him so that he won't have a litany of injuries preventing him from playing. Because the thing about it is, the diminutive guys, you're only going to get a small window.
Very small.
And what you want to do in the meantime, or in that time, is surround them with elite specialty players so that you could get you could get their excellence and winning at the same time.
Right.
When you don't, you get Isaiah Thomas's with hip injuries.
Yeah.
You get Allen Iverson's with an injury list that's a mile long. You get Calvin Murphy's who wind up having a short career. Yeah. Right? So if you're the Knicks, you have to look at this like, listen, we hope Jalen Brunson lasts forever. But we've seen this movie before.
Correct.
No matter, and I know that modern technology is different and modern medicine is different, but you would rather Jalen Brunson prove you wrong than history prove you right. You would prefer for Jalen Brunson to prove to you that he could stay healthy past 4, 5, 6 years, as opposed to Jalen Brunson only giving you peak 4 years and then the injuries pile up on him and it's too much for him. Because mind you, Jalen Brunson is an old breakout star. Jalen Brunson played a full college career at Villanova. Then he played 3 years in Dallas before his breakout year, in his 4th year, right? And then now this is his 1st year being the man, right? Generally, Jalen Brunson at 27, he'll be 27 in September, right? He'll be 27 in September. Generally, what Jalen Brunson is, normal breakout stars are at this age at 22, 23. Jalen Brunson had a full college career. Yeah. Came off the bench for a long time, and then now he's breaking out. So you have to understand.
He's not an old 20. He's not an old 27.
Yes. Yes.
He's not an old 27. That's where the Knicks kind of lucked out. That
because he don't have a lot of miles on him.
Yeah, he don't have a lot of miles on him.
Right. Right. But we don't know. But we don't know how much he can take the pound and pause. We don't know how much of the pounding he can take, the rigors of the NBA. We're not used to seeing diminutive guards last forever.
No. But, and I've been there with you with that. You've heard me, dude, I'm the one who coined the phrase, the Brunsons.
Yeah, true.
The new power dynamic.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm the one who coined that. You know, were you surprised when you heard that when Obi and Tibbs got into it, that he also got into it with Brunson, with Brunson Sr.? Why? Brunson Sr. is like, yo, shut up.
Yeah.
Brunson Sr. is like, my son is having a great game. Go sit your ass down and wait for the pass.
Right.
Go in the corner and wait till he passes you the ball.
Right.
Right. But all fun and jokes aside.
Right.
I mean, we did this with Brunson, as far as we know what our beliefs are with getting the best out of him while you can, because the small guy, and this is no disrespect for people who are, you know, smaller stature and so forth, it's just physically you're gonna take a lot more of a pounding. You know, I'm surprised Muggsy Bogues played 14 years in the NBA? You know, at least 8 or 9 prime.
Right.
In order for a guy that small to earn his merit, Do you know what kind of pain in the ass he has to be on the court in practice all the time?
All the time.
Right? Because already someone's thinking you too small to be out here. Right? So you got to make that opposing guard bring it up 94 feet.
Right.
Almost every play. I heard Steve Smith talk about that when he faced Muggsy in the said he knew Muggsy because they're all around the same age. They played in the circuits or whatever. But he faced him in the NBA. He's 6'8".
Right.
Muggsy's 5'3".
Yeah.
He's a foot and a half taller than him.
Right. Yeah.
And he has to account for this guy that's like by his knees.
By his knee.
All the way up the court.
And strong. Don't forget how strong Muggsy Bogues is now.
Yeah. And he's attacking your handle all the way. So, it becomes like, yo, all right, you got to look down kind of thing. All right, who's this guy? You don't really fear him because you're looking at him like, he can't stop me from going anywhere I want to go. But yes, he can.
Right.
Because if you're not good with the handle and so forth, he's going to make your life a living hell. Because he's at your dribble. He's going to keep attacking your dribble all day long. But, to the theme of what we're talking about, you have to maximize that piece with Brunson.
Right.
You just can't waste it. These next 3, I looked at his contract situation, I think it was yesterday, a day before, and I'm like, damn, 1 year gone already?
Already.
In 2 years, he's looking for an
extension. Yeah. The max.
Yeah, he's looking for whatever the super max is for, and he'll be 30 or 29 at that time, and he'll be looking for.
Yeah.
It'll probably be like 250, whatever, 300.
Yeah. Right. Right. So my point to it all is this, right? You understand what Julius Randle is. Right? You understand what Randle is. And for the most part, for better or for worse, I think Randle is probably going to be what he is. Right? He's going to be what he is. Like, you don't necessarily get better at NBA basketball at age 29. You know what I'm saying? So Randle is going to be what he is. Do you let Randle, as he is, be your alpha during the regular season? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know him and Brunson together. Right? Him and Brunson together are going to do their thing. Right? But the thing about it is you run guards in tandem, right? So Brunson will have a tandem mate, but in Tibbs' offense, there is no consistent guy to run tandem with Julius Randle. He rotates guys in. It's RJ, Grimes, Obi at times. So you don't know what's going to be there, right? You don't know what you're going to get from Mitch. But by adding a player the caliber of Paul George can be the tandem to Brunson and the tandem mate to Randle, right? And now you have the glue guy. In essence, you have your Scottie Pippen. You have your Scottie Pippen type player. Every championship team is going to need that LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard, Draymond Green type guy that can help both sides of the offense, the front court and the back court. You're going to need that type guy. Now, we have that guy right now in RJ Barrett, but how do you feel about RJ Barrett being that guy?
I don't, but let me answer the Randle piece first before I get back, before I touch the RJ piece. I was watching, some old basketball the other day. I think I was watching Chicago, the Bulls.
Okay.
Right.
It was playoffs?
It was regular season.
Okay.
Like a regular season game. And I also was watching a regular season Denver game. No, not the whole game because you can, but it dawned to me why we love these guys. most of these players that we love, they have great moments and so forth. It's not in the playoffs. It's regular season. When they don't have the same kind of pressure. You know what I mean? When they don't have the same kind, they can just go out and just play a free-flowing game and not have to worry about, am I going home tomorrow?
Right.
Remember the Randall game in Miami when he hits that three to win it? Yeah. Right? That seems like many miles ago. Right? So many of his great performances, they're not playoff performances. They're regular season performances.
Okay.
And in order to get to the playoffs, you have to be regular season good, if not dominant.
Okay.
Okay. So I say this to say to your question, let him be Randall 25 and 10 during the regular season. Who cares?
Right. Okay.
As long as we get to the playoffs, who cares? Okay. This is the problem now. When we get to the playoffs, we look at him like 25 and 10 Randall.
Right.
And when he doesn't do it, we're upset.
Right.
See what I'm saying? I used to argue this Tom Brady, Peyton Manning all the time. And I used to kill Peyton Manning all the time. Like, yo, when Peyton Manning sees Tom Brady in the playoffs, his knees buckle.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so, Peyton Manning was playoff P.
Yeah. He was.
He was. P, yeah.
He all was for a long time. For a long time, he was kind of the playoff P.
Yeah.
This is before the rules and changed, and you could still mug receivers at the line and with Ty Law and all of them, right? He was having a terrible time. But I think one day I'm having the Patriots, one of these playoff games, the Patriots were up 11. I think it was like 21-10 or something in the first half. I'm not turning to my boy. I'm like, nah, they done.
Yeah.
I said he's not going to come back.
Right.
And for the first time, he really showed me something.
Yeah.
Right? Like he took the regular season, who he was and who he is, which is one of the greatest quarterbacks we've ever seen at that position. Player, whatever. Right? And they finally beat the Patriots.
Yeah.
And it seemed like he was able to, but I had to apologize to him, not for that, but leading up to that, I'm like, yo, you do 50 touchdowns in a regular season, my guy.
Yeah. Yeah. He torched. Remember that same season.
On a weekly.
Yes. And he torched what we thought at the time was the greatest defense ever. Remember the Buccaneers with Sapp and Brooks and all of that, and he threw for like 5 and this is the regular season. 5 touchdowns in the first half on that defense. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Some guys
and then get to the playoffs and
some guys they just are who they are in certain moments of the game, in certain times of the year.
Right.
Butler is not a 25 and 10 guy in the regular season. He's not. Get him to the playoffs, though. He kind of lulls you to sleep, and all of a sudden, he's knocking out Milwaukee.
Right.
And he's having the best 5 games of his life.
Right.
But regular season, he's not that.
Right.
It's same for Randall. So in order to get for the best for Brunson and so forth, it's not to leave Julius in that position in the playoffs and then for us to be utterly frustrated in the end because we knew what was going to happen with him.
Right.
Regular season basketball is so what? On any game, any night, you can watch Donovan. You may watch Donovan drop 70 and not have to worry about is he going home tomorrow or not. That may just be Julius.
Okay. All right.
So you have to get those pieces of guys that, for some particular reason, come that time of the year, it's Bruce Bowen with the Spurs. Right? What was the name of that? This guard with Boston, he used to just drive teams bananas. Wasn't a good offensive guy, a lick. He was on their championship team in 08. God, real aggressive guard. It was him, Posey, Ron. What is it? He was the lead guard. What was his name? Real aggressive.
Avery Bradley?
No, not Bradley. Bradley wasn't on that team. Oh my God. I could see his name is skipping me. He's one of those defensive kind of players that he's kind of like oh my God, his name will come to me. Somebody in the chat. You know who I'm talking about. He was like a part of that whole him, KG, Rondo, Pierce. What is his name? Big Baby.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
But this is the but what I'm saying is you get the regular season, this a dude like that is but come playoffs, and that just may be Randall. Hence why you need to get better in other areas with Brunson.
Right, but that AD, that's what I'm saying. You said that's what I'm telling you. I'm telling you that the addition of Paul George does that of what you just said.
He does, but I just don't think he does it by himself.
No, but the thing is, but who wins?
Tony Allen.
Yeah, but okay, but who wins it? Who wins a championship by themselves? Nobody.
I saw Paul George a couple of years ago with the Clippers with Doc Rivers and Kawhi Leonard. Okay, and I thought the magnetism of Kawhi could just rise all boats and forgive, the presence of Rivers, the presence of Paul George, and even the greatness of him.
No.
This is the last time he was healthy, when they allowed Denver to come back from 3-1. How many games Denver was down 20 plus and they came back, and Paul George was healthy. And Paul George was a part of that situation. And Doc Rivers was still riding on that that one championship since 2008. And in the fourth quarter, when I'd never seen this happen out of Paul George before or since, when he was flailing his arms, when he had totally lost his cool, Doc couldn't pull him in. Paul George was like,
bad coaching will do that, but bad coaching will do that to you, bro.
Yeah, but at some point in time, when you're playoff P, and we're talking about now specifically in the playoffs, what are you looking at Doc for? What you looking at Doc for?
Doc is the coach.
He is the coach, but he's already proven to be inept in certain situations.
Right.
His former players are killing him on a daily.
Right.
Right? So what? You have no responsibility as the what? He's making as much money as Kawhi. He's 1B. He's co-star.
But AD, who else was on the floor with them?
They were up 3-1, Freezie.
AD, but okay. Right, but you blaming one guy. Listen, okay. So I'm just gonna say this, and based on what you're saying, that hey, Pat Ewing, Clyde Frazier suck. Basically, that's what you. Basically.
How can I say that when Clyde Frazier is 36, 19, and 7 on his record?
Yeah, right. Well, what I'm saying to you, bro, is these dudes have to be coached. These dudes have to be coached. How many times have you seen a talented team have a bad coach?
A great player at times is supposed to take over, Freezie. He's supposed to.
Says who?
Says me.
Says you. Okay. How many
championships? Says the history of the game that I have watched.
How many championships you got?
I don't got him up on the walls.
Right. I understand. That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I agree with you. You know what I'm saying? I agree that players are supposed to elevate the players around them, right? I agree. But at the same time, individuals operate in an organization. You know what I'm saying? Are you supposed to just go and say, yo, the coach don't know what he's talking about, get him out of here? Nah, you can't. Nah, man, you can't.
At some point, Freezie,
nah, you can't do that, man.
Look, remember, it was the coach Hubie Brown in the pivotal moments, Detroit and the Knicks, with Bernard King having 103-degree fever.
Yes.
Scoring 45.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Pivotal moment, the last shot of the game.
Yep.
The coach draws up a play for someone other than Bernard.
I understand that. And that's my point. My point is a player can only
coach did that.
I understand. I agree with you. What I'm saying is a player can only do so much. That same Bernard King game, that's probably, and you and I may disagree on this, and we might agree, but that's one of my favorite Knicks games of all time. Watching a Knicks player overcome all this BS to keep them in that game, right? And then the coach messed it up. Right? And so you're like, come on, bro. You a decoy.
How do you make
what do you need a decoy for when
what the hell do you need a decoy for at this point of the game?
Right, when the real McCoy is balling.
Okay. That's what
so we agree, right? We agree, right?
Absolutely. That's what a coach can do. A coach takes out Tim Duncan, one of the 10 greatest ball players ever, in the waning moments of a game, to have Chris Bosh rebound over 6'2" guys, turn and fire and give it to Jesus Shuttlesworth, and LeBron gets to reclaim what was about to be a total catastrophe.
Right.
But a coach did that.
Right, but that wasn't the player. That's what I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm saying about the Paul George thing that you mentioned. The things that you mentioned about Paul George and Kawhi, that was not Paul George and Kawhi. That was Doc Rivers, bro. We saw, Doc stunk in Orlando. Nobody remember Doc stinking it up in Orlando with Tracy McGrady.
I do.
Right?
I do.
Doc stunk it up in Boston, bro. Bill Simmons, the podcast, hated Doc Rivers, bro. Hated him. They got lucky and got at the end of an era. At the end of an era, they were not lucky, but they won it. I'll give them credit.
Right? Their traded them the best player. Their former great traded them their best player. Yep. This is another one of these things where the league sits back and watches shit like this, right? And say nothing about this. Here you have Dallas that literally gives up the last few games that the Knicks should have got that pick, right?
Right.
Okay. But 10 years rewind, 12 years rewind, you have Kevin McHale trading Kevin Garnett to his former team. No one says a word.
Nobody say a word. It's praised.
No one says a word. He literally was like, "Yo, Boston, you were good to me."
Right.
They literally pushed KG out of Minnesota because it was up to him. He'd have never left. He'd have been Dame Dollars. He'd have been Dame.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you. But what I'm saying is the thing about Paul George and Doc Rivers, you have to put that loss solely on the coaching staff and organization and not the players. Because all the players can go out there, all the players can do is go out there and do the very best that they can do. But strategically, they're not calling those shots.
Coaches don't shoot.
I understand that.
Coaches don't rebound.
All right, I understand that.
They don't steal passes. They don't.
All right, who's more valuable right now? Who would you rather have, Doc Rivers or Paul George?
Paul George.
See how easy this question is? That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I get where you coming from, bro. But the thing is at some point we can't just point to the players and say that the players just lost it.
In some moments, when you're given that kind of responsibility, Freezie, and you sought it, remember, there's no superstar player that didn't seek that light.
Okay.
A Charles Barkley can say all they want, I'm not a role model, wasn't a role model, whatever. You sought the big cheer. You sought to be amongst the best.
Okay.
All of them, whether they won championships or not, they sought. There's a pecking order.
Okay.
You know, if they didn't, if OKC or better yet, the Clippers. Okay, we're at the Clippers right now, so let's stay right here for a second. When the Clippers get Kawhi, right? Kawhi literally strong arms the Clippers and makes them go get him a second star.
Okay.
It just so happened that they hit the right door with OKC because OKC was imploding and they're looking to mess up everything anyway. Right? The Clippers have to turn around and give up 5 first-round picks for Paul George? Plus a year later, they pay him $190 million.
Okay.
Okay. Is he not a star? Did he not put himself in star position? Right? Did he not act like it? Was he not out here telling people he's playoff P? So is he not supposed to show and prove, Freezie? They gave him $190 million. They traded 5 first-round picks for this guy, and you're supposed to tell me that in a game, whatever, the coach is not doing his thing or whatever. Okay, it's a part of the factor, but you're gonna tell me that he has no weight in this? He just walks off into the sunset, and this is the kind of guy that you want to get and that you'll be willing to give him an extension of a contract at 34 years old? You got to be mad.
Okay.
You have got to be mad. I'm not letting guys walk away from their responsibility. I'm sorry. We wouldn't let Ewing do it. We still talk about the finger roll to this day. To this day, we're still talking about the finger roll 29 years later.
Bro, if we can legit just speak to that moment, that game, that moment, right? That was probably one of the worst coach games that we've seen in a minute. There were times in this game against Indiana, you're like, what are we doing? Like what are we out here? What are we doing out here? Like we just letting them beat us up inside, right? And then kick out to shooters. That's it. They're not slashing. They're not creating. They just beating us up inside.
They seem to get old in that series.
Yeah,
they seem to really get, because remember, that's pre-Marcus Camby, pre-Chris Childs, pre-Charlie Ward.
That's 95. It's 95.
They seem to get.
That's pre-Charlie Ward playing.
Yeah, because they draft Ward, I think, like he's on the bench or something like that.
Yeah.
But 94 took all the wind out of their sails.
Right.
They came back the following year. They still had a good team. They still finished the whatever. Remember the beginning of that training camp? They wanted to run more, right? I literally remember a press conference or an introductory, like into the season, where Pat Riley's going, they want to run. I'm going to let them run, but I'm going to make them own it until they can't. The beginning of the season, they're running up and down.
Right.
First few games of the year, they're running up and down, but they were running to no conclusion.
Yeah. That was the same press conference that John Starks wore a T-shirt that said, you miss every shot you don't take. Remember that? Remember the T-shirt he wore to the press? You miss every shot you don't take or something.
I remember that. And I'm thinking, just super ballsy. But that's just who he was. Super ballsy. And I watched that. And I think me and you were talking, and I told you, I said, Freezie, I watched Game 7 again the other day. You're like, why? Why did you do this to yourself? You're like, why? Why did you do this to yourself?
Why do we do this to ourselves? Why do we do this to ourselves?
But that's what we do.
So
we go back in time to try and see how can we correct the madness.
Right. And I'm here to tell you, AD. I gotta tell you this, right? My thing is I think by adding a Paul George, I think you could wreck all those mistakes that you made in the past.
I think you could too, Freezie, but I just think that there's some other things you got to do. You got to do. You know, you just real. Freezie, we talked about this the other night, and I said to you, you know, I said, Freezie, whenever you hear the Knicks are linked to a player, if it doesn't get done in the first 2 days, it's not getting done.
Right.
We're like 10 days into this Paul George situation.
Okay.
Julius Randle podcast and everything. Buddy, CAA all day, you know, all of that. How come it hasn't gotten done?
I don't know.
How is it that Phoenix, Boston, whoever, Golden State, whatever you think about that deal with CP3 ending up there, which I think I don't even understand what Golden State was thinking. Right?
Right.
How come these other teams can see that there's a priority that we need to do and we need to handle, and they're at it out the gate? And out the gate, the Knicks are like that horse, you know, that horse that somebody that's a long shot, like 100-1, and when the race starts, he's like,
yeah, like the old Looney Tunes cartoons, yeah, like
out the gate.
He
ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
How come it's like that for this man every year?
Right.
Where is the earnest? Where is like that? Look, we coming. I'm not
for sure. You lost me. So are you saying you for Paul George or not?
I would be for Paul George, but I'm saying, where is the decisiveness within the organization in their moves? They've been talking about this Paul George rumor thing's been going on for like 10 days.
Okay.
How come it hasn't gotten done?
Oh, I got you on that. And then also, not just Paul George, but we've been talking up this accumulation of assets thing to trade for a star for years. And we hadn't gotten a star yet.
What star is it?
I'm not for sure. But I do want to point out that these narratives that we used to talk about, that we used to argue about going back 2 or 3 years, we are still arguing over the same stuff. And so at some point we have to realize, is this worth wasting the energy over? And is this really the argument itself? Because I'm told, they just accumulating assets, man. They're going to make a trade for a huge star. This is going back to 2020 or 2021, right? It's 2023, and we hadn't seen it yet.
It's part of the reason I don't rock. Don't get me wrong. I'll listen to the radio, okay? I've watched so many other podcasts just to stay abreast of the situations. I get alerts, this, that, and the third, like everybody else, okay?
Right.
But it's why I blocked them out.
Right.
Because they set this narrative for years.
Right.
They have all of this draft capital, Freezie. Who is the person that you're willing to pay for? You know how upset you are, Freezie, for the mere fact that the Knicks gave up a #1 pick for Josh Hart, that they didn't have they didn't attempt to make a pick or a play. You know how much you've been beating the drums on this past draft here?
Since the day, as soon as it happened, trade deadline, as soon as because it was either 5 second-round picks or a first-round pick, right? And I was like, 5 second-round picks for Josh Hart? That sounds like a lot, but okay. But then when I found out it was a first, I'm like, holy crap. And then when I found out it was our first, I was like, no. You don't trade draft picks for an energy guy. You don't trade first round picks for an energy guy. I'm sorry.
And to get away a mistake, but this is where me and you differ, because I would have done that all day, every day to get Cam up out of here and to move on. So that's where we differ. But the point is, all right, you've done that. Now what?
Right.
From the latest, which is concrete evidence, him and the Knicks agreed to extend the timeline for him declining his option or whatever. So that makes me think that there's something in the works here. But for who?
Right. For who?
For who?
It's got to be either Paul George, Donovan Mitchell, or Zach LaVine. Nobody else makes sense. Let's pause right there. Let's do these real quick because there was some super chats that were just sitting. So Justo11, thank you for the generous contribution. Justo says, when did the Knicks last make a win now move? PG on this team immediately puts us in the championship race. You gotta pay to play with the big dogs. Hey, I absolutely agree with you, bro, on that. That makes sense in my mind. Paris Duggar, thank you for the generous contribution. Paris Duggar says Jalen Brunson won back-to-back championships, so he's been a star. Yeah, he won back-to-back championships in college, and he even won in high school, right? But that doesn't make you a star on the NBA level. What I'm saying to you is that Jalen Brunson's a mega star right now, and y'all don't recognize it, or not just y'all, but Knicks fans don't recognize that he's a mega star because he's doing mega star stuff, right? He's just not acknowledged for it, right? And Justo11 says AD just described Randall's New York career just like Melo, right? Just carrying weight and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And maybe not, blah, blah, blah. Boom, boom, boom.
Thank you for the super chat.
A.T. Elliott said we did Rose dirty. Nah.
No, we did not. Dear God. Dear God. They're acting as if they took the money back. They just declined. They just was like, "Oh, dude, we good. We don't want to pay you that last bit for you to do what? You want to be what, the highest paid assistant coach in the league?
Yeah, we can't pay Derrick Rose $16 million a year to be the fourth point guard. And even though he's a great mentor and listen, a great mentor, and would we love to have Derrick Rose around for less money, significantly less? Yes. But when you're a second round team and every dollar counts, like for instance, if you'd have kept Derrick Rose on that team option, you're not even having the Josh Hart discussion. You're not even having the Josh Hart discussion.
No, you're not. You're not. There's no way to make that. There's no way to make that happen, unless you're gonna go overkill and use his bird rights and give him some ridiculous contract, which he even knows. He strikes me as the kind of person, he's not gonna come in telling me I want $110 million. Like he even knows that that's not what my market is.
Yeah,
I like it here. I want to be here. I want to work something out with you, But to the Derrick Rose thing, Derrick Rose has been a good soldier. His second time around, his first time around, we forget how the man just went into disappearance. He went into a witness protection program that the Knicks organization that was paying him millions and millions of dollars did not know where he was.
And he was starting.
And he was starting.
And they let him fly back and forth home on his day. Man, Derrick Rose, come on, man.
We forget that. We forget that he went totally missing in action.
Right.
Like we fall in love, and this is for a lesson for players looking from the outside looking in. We don't kill our players. You know what I'm saying? Like there's real love here, but there's also real checks and balances.
So what's the balance of love?
Money.
No.
Money.
No, money can't account for hate, bro.
You could hate me all day you wanted, right? As long as the check don't bounce, I could care less.
You say that, and I bet you, if you had 12 or 13 negative comments in a row in the chat over here, you'd be thinking like, man, what are they doing?
But no, because I appreciate the honesty.
No,
I get love. Don't get me wrong, but not everyone's gonna love you, Freezie. Not everyone love AD because AD out here and we dedicated to this.
Who would he at? What he at? If they don't love AD, if you don't love AD, you about to get it.
You about to get the hands?
Yeah, they about to get it. Shannon Briggs, I see you out here.
You Shannon and Mike. But I'm sure there's some people that's like, yo, AD don't know. Why does AD always sound like he's the gospel? You told me that the other night. AD, you ain't always right. That could be seen as a form of, I don't like him. That's fine. You understand what I'm saying? It don't stop the love.
No, I'm saying that.
And if it ain't love, if it don't stop the money train, we good.
AD, what I'm saying though is this is one of the things that one of the narratives that we put out here that you know what I'm saying, it's love or respect. Nah, it ain't that. The opposite of love is hate, bro. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as the opposite of love is hate. If you don't love them, you know what I'm saying, and if it's the opposite, because a lot of times we're in the middle. For the most times we're in the middle, but when we're talking about checks and balances, the thing that balances love is the other thing, is yin and yang, right? And the thing about Randall is even though Randall frustrates us to no end, nobody is, well, I'm not gonna say nobody, I can't speak for everyone, but what I will say is Randall frustrates a lot of us to the point where we just want to jump out of a plate glass window, like the old cowboy movies. Remember the cowboy movies? They just throw them out the saloon window. That's what I feel like doing sometimes with Randall, right? Right?
We miss those.
Yes.
We miss those.
But at the same time, like even though Randall frustrates me like that, I'm not going all the way to the opposite end and gonna hate on that man, because I understand how difficult it is to play for the Knicks, bro. Because of the checks and balances that you mentioned. Whereas on a nightly basis, you can go back and forth on the love-hate spectrum, and it's unpredictable. And most humans and athletes can't deal with that. We like consistency. We like things on schedule. We like things to be balanced. But when Knicks fans go zooming back and forth on the, like if you if you hit the shot to win the game, they praise you. Drinks on you. You ain't got to buy a drink for a week in the city. But if you miss the shot, you can't go nowhere. You know what I'm saying? It's as simple as that, right? And then plus, with that being said,
you can read into this, Freezie.
But the guy taking that shot is like, if I make this shot, I'm the king of New York. But if I miss this shot, everybody in New York gonna hate me. You know what that tells the player that's taking the shot? I don't want to take that shot. It's not worth it.
To that point, Freezie, you just stated 5 minutes ago that John Starks came in with the T-shirt that said what it said.
Yeah.
Right? John Starks didn't run out of this town.
Right.
After Game 7. They had to trade him out of here.
Right.
And he still came back.
Yeah.
Why? Because the love is real. We were disappointed that he didn't get it done. Right? But if he doesn't take, you had to have the heart to take those shots. It's tough, but it's a part of it. Sometimes when athletes, Freezie, get into their feelings and they can't see that it's a business all the way around. You understand?
Okay.
They've paid you a lot of money. So we expect for you to do
every generation get paid a lot of money, bro.
Yes, for that generation, every generation
gets paid a lot of money. Right? Every generation gets paid.
But you can't pick and choose when you like the analysis. You understand? Right. They used to call the Dodgers the bums openly to their face. They live in the area, them bums.
And you know what the Dodgers did, bro?
They eventually won.
They left town.
And they eventually left town.
They left town and they started winning World Series in another city.
Yeah. Well, there's some nuances to that, but there was a respect. It was like, yo, they bums, but they our bums. You see?
Yeah.
We may rail on Julius, but he's our guy. We're not gonna let somebody roll. I don't know Knicks fans like that. That's gonna let somebody rail on their team because you dissatisfied. No, Hope, slow your roll. Just about every serious relationship I've ever had in my life, right? A woman, right? They have not been Knicks fans. I've kind of cajoled that Knicks situation. Okay? But
and Azuma Nelson, right?
Yes.
You can't be with me unless you love Azuma Nelson.
They say all kind of slick shit. 2 years ago when Randall went, the person I was seeing at the time, when the Knicks went on that 9-game winning streak, you know where it started from, Freezie? In my living room. This woman is absolutely killing us. And I was like, be careful what you do, because the energies or whatever, they won one. She killed him again. They won another. She's here for 9 games in a row. We're in this living room here, 9 games in a row, and she can't believe it that the Knicks are riding this wave. And I said, well, you started it.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So they're ours. We can call them bums, but we're not going to let somebody from the outside come up in here and act crazy.
Right.
We shouldn't.
So are we saying that Paul George can't make it here? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know.
What I'm saying to you is, I think Paul George.
You don't know that question. I don't know that question.
Well, no, that's why I prefaced it with I think Paul George is the perfect weapon. Paul George is the perfect player. It's not like we're going to the Clippers and redoing the Charles Smith thing all over again. No, we're not doing that, bro.
Oh gosh,
this thing is proven. This guy is proven.
Proven what? What is he proving?
Well, I mean, he's proven a bunch of stuff. He's a great shooter, offensive initiator, might be the greatest perimeter defender of all time.
Oh, dear
might
God.
be.
Oh, dear God.
Right? And just that alone. What do you want to do? You want to put Evan Fournier? Okay, you want to put Evan Fournier back out here?
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is you have to temper your enthusiasm.
No, I don't.
Temper your enthusiasm because
I don't.
Some people, well, in my opinion, yes, you do.
No, you're not gonna tell me how to be a fan, bro.
No, I'm not. But we've watched. Do you remember when the Yankees got Ed Whitson?
I remember. Yeah, he was not built for. You already knew he wasn't built for New York, bro.
How did that end up?
It ended up with him punching Billy Martin in the face
and breaking Billy's arm.
Right, but he was that guy before he got to New York, bro. It's not like that dude was having meltdowns before that, man.
But he also was successful before he got to New York.
Yeah.
Right? He gets here
in a small market. Yeah,
in a small, medium, whatever. With San Diego, he was successful.
Yeah.
He takes the New York money. He doesn't realize that it's serious for us as New York people. It's serious. You're now a part of the brotherhood. You're a part of the family. So we're expecting, and when your coach is a Yankee legend who already has his own personal issues and demons and so forth, and he's looking at you like, dude, they're hanging out at the same bar, Freezie, after a game.
But where I'm lost at is this: do you want a star or not? And do you want to waste Jalen Brunson's prime or not?
It's yes and no, but when you come here, you have to earn. Did Jalen Brunson not earn his medal last year in this uniform?
Okay.
Even the biggest Jalen Brunson detractors got to say, nah. Year one, he just came in here like that and just was like, what? I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. How many guys you see get here, Freezie? How many guys they get here when they get here? It's like a whole nother.
This is not a fair. That's not. Yeah.
But it's real.
No. Listen, hear me out on it. What I'm saying to you is when guys come here in that context that you're saying, they're always the first guy to come in and turn things around. right? What I'm saying to you is that you have your Clyde Frazier impact player here already, right? You have your Carmelo Anthony impact player here already, right? You have your Pat Ewing impact player here already. And you have Julius Randle here, right? In years past, we let Bernard King, Pat Ewing, Carmelo, Marbury, they were here by themselves. What I'm saying to you is you have a Randall here. While he's not perfect, he's a very good player, right? And if you can bring in another guy, this will be the most talented, star-studded era of Knicks basketball that most people in this chat have ever seen.
I don't care about star-studded. I'm a star guy. But I don't care about at this point in time. I care about you being available to get the job done. You not worrying about your next contract to get the job done. Because you heard me like last week. I said, Freezie, if I could, or if the Knicks could, they should rip up Jalen Brunson's contract that they gave him last year and give him a new deal now. He already paid for this deal.
But I don't understand. What does this have to do with adding stars?
But is he a star?
Yes.
Is Paul George at 33, 34 years old a star?
Oh my God. What are we?
Is he a star, Freezie? At 33, 34 years old, is he a star?
We can just keep losing now. Keep losing.
He's not a. But I'm not Freezie.
All right, no, go ahead.
The point that you're losing is
I'm not losing.
Or for me, at least, it's not that I don't want him, Freezie. It's like, yo, I'm trying to keep him in a place where it's honest. He's a good player. Yes. Would he be a good piece? Yes. All of that. But if you're telling me that walking in the door, that you'd be willing to give him a new deal and everything else no. Not at 33, 34 years old. Hell no.
Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. We'll just keep losing then. That's the alternative. The alternative is don't go out and improve your roster with upper echelon talent.
Let me ask you something.
Just keep on rolling out RJ Barrett and Julius Randle's gonna win us a chip.
Let me ask you something.
Now, chat, y'all agree that RJ Barrett and Julius Randle's gonna win us a chip, right? And screw Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson prime don't matter. Why would we go out and add more talent when we can just let RJ Barrett build a team around RJ Barrett? Let's just do that.
Freezie, you earn what you get in this life, Freezie. See what I'm saying? The Yankees traded for Giancarlo Stanton. How did that work out for them?
Right. They also traded for Paul O'Neill.
Okay. All right.
The Yankees also traded for Babe Ruth. How did that work out?
Is that what we're doing? We're putting
We're
putting an acquisition of Paul George.
You went down this road.
No, you're right. I'm not saying Paul George can't, Freezie. I'm not saying he wouldn't, but I got to see him
the
here
Yankees
first.
Traded for David Cone, and he was old, right?
Yeah, they also traded for a bunch of Ken Phelps.
Right, they acquired Wade Boggs.
They also traded for. I mean, look, I lived through Pascal Perez.
They traded for Jim Leyritz
and Melito Perez, but that regime, Freezie, that gets a Jim Leyritz and so forth like that, they had a plan of pieces that would fit together. Is Paul George a plan, a piece that will fit together? Okay, if so, come in and come fit. Don't before you get here tell me that you need a new deal in order to get here. That's not going to work. Knicks fans, you show me a Knicks fan right now in the chat that be willing to give Paul George a new deal on him walking through the door. You have to be crazy.
Okay.
You would have to be bugging out. There is no way in hell I would give him a new deal. You're already making $47 million for the next 2 years.
So?
I'm not watching your money, but I got Randall here. Okay. I got Brunson here. You don't come in and get top billing over these guys. You come in and earn what you need to. Freezie, he comes in and has a good year. He's gonna get a new deal. Period.
Yeah, I'm lost.
Okay, let me ask you something.
No. Chat. This is a chat when this is the thing I'm talking about. Chat when panelists don't have nothing to say, they be like, "Let me ask you something." Don't have nothing to say. No, I ain't bailing you out. Bail your own stuff out.
No.
Yeah, bail your own stuff out. You ain't great. No, you ain't gonna drag me in that. No. Trying to put me on a witness stand.
You do realize that ain't nobody here but me and you, right?
You're right.
You do realize that, right?
I got you.
Okay. That's all I wanted to point out. Okay. Yo, you're so enamored by this Paul George thing. You're like, you made up your mind already.
No.
You made up your mind.
No, that's absolutely not where I'm at.
Okay, if the Knicks don't get Paul
where I'm
George,
at, the theme of this, what I'm saying, the theme of it has been Randall is a good player. Do we want to waste Jalen Brunson's prime?
No.
That has been the theme of it that I've been saying the whole time. Like the only reason why I didn't add other players to the thing is because we was running short on time. Right? But I have the Donovan Mitchell and Zach LaVine thing up here. I can show it to you right now. I ain't gonna shoot you the gas. Look, check this out. The only reason why I ain't have others is where is it? Yeah. See, I was gonna add that to the thing too.
You know what? You know what your problem is, Freezie?
I was gonna add that to it too. You know what I'm saying? You see Zach LaVine is up here too.
Yeah.
There's my proof. Right? I was gonna add them too. I just ran out of time. What I'm saying to you ultimately, is I don't want to waste Jalen Brunson's prime. I know Julius Randle, big dog, Julius Randle is gonna be 29. Right? Are we gonna depend on a 30, 31, 32-year-old Julius Randle?
No.
That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying to you is ultimately we have to add talent. The only reason why I even considered Paul George in this scenario is because the Knicks put feelers out there for Paul George. Right? Would I rather have Anthony Edwards? Of course.
But you want to add talent by any means necessary. And they're not. I wouldn't do that for them at this moment in time. I'm not going to just rip up and just bring in a collection of guys in here or several guys in there just because. It has to make sense, Freezie. It has to make logistical sense.
Okay, so what's the alternative?
Would I look to a Zach LaVine? He wasn't one of my guys and so forth, but he is a dangerous offensive player.
Zach LaVine ain't coming, bro. He already told you that. Zach LaVine said he didn't want to play for New York, bro, because of those things that you mentioned. Certain cats are just not built for that thing. You're not gonna be finicky with people, bro.
Did you really just use the word finicky out
there? Most people don't like finicky, bro. They like consistency.
How do you Oscar the cat?
Yeah, I mean, think about it, chat. Do y'all like finicky people? Do y'all like finicky people?
When is the last time you used the word finicky? When the hell is the last time you used the word finicky?
Yeah, people don't like that, bro. People want you to be consistent. They don't care. Bro, human beings, for the most part, like situations that's predictable. They like rock steady, roll ready. They don't want to, if I take this shot, man, they're going to boo me out of here. Are you serious? And I played 47 minutes and 59 seconds. I missed one shot, and then I can't even go to the dry cleaners because y'all booing me, blowing y'all horns, flipping me the bird.
It's a part of the game, Freezie.
And for that reason,
part of the life.
Right? And for that reason, stars don't come here.
Freezie, they booed Derek Jeter in this town.
And for that reason, the Knicks haven't won a championship.
Yeah, but that's not the only reason, Freezie. You know better than that. It's not fans' reaction is the reason why they're not winning. The fan didn't make John Starks take that shot and have Elijah Wan tip it. Fans only reacted to it.
Right.
That's not fair.
Right.
The love is here. The love is real.
Where?
It's here. It's here from this fan base. It's real.
But, I mean, I heard somebody say, "Ain't no love in the heart of the city. Ain't no love in the heart of town."
I knew you were gonna do that.
And you telling me, you know what I'm saying? What I'm saying?
Huey? Is that Baby Huey?
No.
That's not Baby Huey?
No.
Made that original record?
No.
You're right. That Blue Blend?
Yeah, Bobby Blue.
Yes,
Blend.
Bobby Blue Blend. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, what I'm saying, bro, is the team has to have a upgrade for the guys that But what it is what I think it is you may have a specific player that you like, and it may not be Paul George, but you do understand and agree with my sentiment that when you have a Brunson entering his prime and you have a Randall in his prime, you need a guy in between them, a connector, in order for us to get into that championship conversation. So whether you agree that it's Paul George or another guy may not be, you know what I'm saying, may not be the point, but we agree on that thing, right? The only thing is, when we're talking about that fit, there is no guy that fits that better than Paul George. What are we going to do? Pascal Siakam and then play two power forwards? You know what I'm saying? I mean, what are we going to do? We're going to go out and get SGA? They're not giving up SGA. They tell me, you say SGA, I'm hanging up the phone. That's their mode. Devin Booker, why would the Suns are not trading Devin Booker? You know what I'm saying? I mean, Zion, what are you going to do? Play two power forwards?
Hey! We will not. You will not sully the good name of one Zion Williamson on these airways and act like Zion in the truth. Okay, you will not act like you wouldn't find what to do with Zion if Zion fell in your lap on this team.
You know that's my cousin, right?
Oh, Zion?
Yep. You don't hear me sully in Zion. You might hear me sully in action. You know what I'm saying? You might hear me sully in something
Do you really want to claim that right now, Freezie?
Hey man, this was told to me years ago, bro. I ain't never met him, bro. I ain't never met him, but whatever.
And we had this conversation off air, and I told you, I'm like, yo, why are they not looking to move for Zion? Why are they not all in this Zion situation?
But the thing is, even if you go get Zion and send them Randall, who is going to be that person in between Brunson and Zion?
I figure it out.
That's what.
I figure it out.
That's the thing.
I was always the kind of kid when I was growing up is that if I had 5 toys, the first toy I really liked, I would deal with that first. So it was almost a waste to buy me other toys. I wasn't that kid that played with that just turned and went with the drums and nah.
Right. Same thing with the ladies, right? You get one and then that be yeah.
How you gonna set me up like that?
No. I'm just using your analogy, bro.
I refuse.
You the one brought it up.
I refuse to answer that question for that. This kind of evidence could be used against me in the court of one Anthony.
Public opinion. But AD, my point is, can you find another perfect player? The only other perfect player is Kawhi Leonard. Are we really going to trade for Kawhi Leonard?
I wouldn't touch that. I wouldn't touch Kawhi with a 10-foot pole.
Right. Well, what about Anthony Davis?
I would think about that, but still,
right.
At the end of the day,
but then what do you do with Julius Randle? Now you have to trade Randle to the Lakers, and then now you still have that gap between Brunson and Anthony Davis.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't. I was an AD fan, some years ago, but I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't go nowhere near that.
Right. So what's the alternative? Play Obi Toppin at the 3?
Oh man.
Chad, I'm sorry.
They're just all over the place, especially with that. I hear what you're saying. No, I hear what you're saying, Freezie, as far as this makes the most sense. But we've been down in the words of the great Leon Hayward, we've tried to slide down the canyon of love before.
Okay.
We did this with Donovan last year, and for some particular reason, it didn't make sense to them. It made sense to us.
Right.
It makes sense to the majority of Knicks fans. Are like, yo, 25, New York, he's flirting, he's been flirting, you've been flirting, CAA, blah, 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 blah. End of the day, you don't get it done.
Right.
We've seen this before. We'll get a narrative from the team that something, either Leon wasn't a part of the negotiation team, and somehow the phones weren't working to get back to him in time.
Yeah, somebody was on vacation, and somebody was in the office, somebody missed a text message.
Somebody missed a text message, because that's what they've shown us, Freezie.
Right.
That's what they've shown us in these moments of, and you mentioned it the other day, like in these moments of, all right, getting it done, outside of them securing their godson, what else have they done?
I have an answer for you. I have a solution.
Go ahead.
Here's the solution. Trade all the kids and the draft picks for Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson.
I'd do it.
And Cam Johnson and Mikal Bridges would be the connectors between Brunson and Randall. Chat, what do y'all think? Y'all like Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson?
Bridges
intrigues me. Yep, you could even play Mikal Bridges at the 2 if Cam Johnson wants to start, and I know Mikal Bridges is a 3.
We got this whole Villanova situation going. Mikal Bridges intrigues the hell out of me. Absolutely. Yep. I've watched his game. I remember when the Knicks did not draft him. They drafted Kevin Knox. I'm not going to go back there. I'm not going to do that. We've beaten that man up enough. And when he got traded, because I think that his hometown Philly drafted him, right? And he got the hat, and he thought he was going to be a part of it. His mother works for the 76ers, right?
Yep.
Right. And they did him, I don't want to say that they did him dirty, but it was business.
They did him dirty. They traded him for nothing. Yeah. Do you remember the guy they traded him for? Yeah. The guy they traded him for was in the league for half a season.
No, I don't.
Yep, a 6'2" small forward is who they traded.
But they didn't see anything.
Look like my cousin TK.
Yeah. But he's just built himself over these last 4 to 5 years, man. These last 5 years, and he's made himself. And I'm sure somewhere Phoenix is kicking themselves in the back that he wasn't on the team last year.
Yeah,
because he was that good of an upcoming rising talent. I like the hell out. I would do that in a heartbeat.
Right.
I wouldn't even think about it.
That's the point that I'm getting at, is our options are so limited, bro. We can't look down our nose at any option.
Okay, I see what you're saying now. So you'd be willing not only to trade for Paul, but because the options are so limited, to make everything right, you'd be willing to pay him as well.
Yes. And the reason being is the draft came and went, right? And the Knicks didn't make a move in this draft to even get a guy to groom in that space. But whatever. It's over. It's water under the bridge, right? It's water under the bridge, right? But to say, hey, man, yeah, listen, going forward, our small forward rotation is Josh Hart and RJ Barrett, and we're going to win a championship with that. No, we got to, bro.
No. That's not going to win a championship. And if they don't know it, then I don't know what to say for them.
Bro, I'm saying that. What's our other option? Is our other option that? I mean, what about Brandon Ingram? Even if you say Brandon Ingram all the stuff that you say about Paul George is true about Brandon Ingram, except age.
And that's a major factor. He's 26 years old.
Right.
It's a major factor.
Injury prone.
It's still 26 years old. It's a major factor.
Yeah, the Pelicans fans are mad at him because he won't play through small injuries.
I get it. But he's at that time, he's your problem, not ours.
Okay.
It's not until you get it in the room for you to be like, whoa, what was this?
Okay.
Okay, here's my overriding thing here, Freezie. They just can't be afraid to take a chance, which is where we always come back to. We always come back to them not having all the ducks in a row to take a chance. That's the problem. You want to take a chance on Paul George and pay him on top of it? Great. Do it.
Okay.
How about that? Do it. A week or so ago, the narrative was, for the last... Do you know how long the Knicks were flirting with Bradley Beal?
3 years.
At least.
Right.
And all we kept hearing, he wants to walk his children home from school. He's a community man.
Darren Williams.
Yes, he's all of this. And then the next thing, he's on the next thing smoking the Phoenix.
Yeah.
What happened to the DC community?
Right.
What happened to all of that?
Yeah, well, the thing about it is those were Knicks narratives. The one thing I noticed and by being a YouTuber is that all my life, all I've been listening to is Knicks narratives. But when I started listening to other YouTubers that have other channels, like
that makes sense.
In our like group chats and on all this stuff, bro, half of this stuff we hear as Knicks fans ain't even true. Right? Half of this stuff ain't even true. Like the cats is like the cat. I don't want to say his name, but
right,
my man from Detroit. He like, yo, y'all would not even have won if it wasn't for Josh Hart, right? This is what he telling me. And then I talked to other fans of other fan bases. They're like, Josh Hart, that's y'all finishing move. Josh Hart is y'all finishing move. Good luck. That's what they saying. My homeboy Gibbon in Portland and those guys out there, but they like Josh Hart. Josh Hart is your finishing move. Good luck with that.
No, it's a good piece. He brings something that you need, that you desire, that you hope to have from all your players, but that's not the finisher.
Right.
That's all I'm saying with them is like when I watch these other teams come out the gate, Freezie, and see whether you agree with Boston getting KP, whether you agree with the moves or not, they came out
making moves.
Right.
And what I'm saying to you, boss, is the mere fact that a Paul George or some type move has not been done makes me think that they're satisfied with RJ Barrett and Josh Hart being.
They're satisfied. It makes me again. I'm with you. It makes me feel like, wow, this is Atlanta all over again. This is Atlanta all over again. When I see podcasters are preaching this narrative of Donovan in 2 years, I'm like, you got to be crazy.
Is this not Kevin Durant in 2 years? Remember, we getting Kevin Durant in 2 years. Book it. We getting LeBron James in 2 years.
Book it. I've been living my life on 2 years.
Right. I remember
my Knicks fans' life has been in 2 years.
Yep. I remember we're getting Mike Jordan and Shaquille O'Neal in 2 years.
I'm like, yo, you guys just got 2 years to give up.
Right.
I don't got 2 days to give up.
Right. As fans, bro, we don't have time like that. And then especially now when we feel like you have the requisite pieces to go out and make the move. See, before when you said wait 2 years and we knew you were accumulating pieces, I was like, I don't want to wait, but I understand. Now, when you have all the pieces and you telling me 2 years, no.
Do you remember what we were last year this time, Freezie?
Yes. Yep.
We were on edge.
Yep.
Literally like, yo, they gonna get this done.
Yep.
They're gonna get Donovan.
When they traded Burks and Noel, I was like, they going to make the power move.
They're making the power move.
Right.
They're clearing the cap space. They're gonna get this done. All we kept hearing, because I knew a couple of people that was, into not his management circle, but for who he was trying to deal with and draft parties, and that he was spending all his time in New York this time last year.
Yeah.
Right? And every day you kept hearing a piece of the trade until you heard that, oh, it's only the Knicks in Utah.
Yeah.
No one else is a part of this scenario.
The day Miami fell out of the negotiation, we was like,
yep,
book it. Yep.
We're great. Every day, Freezie, it's like, yo, why is this not done yet?
Right.
It's like another day, till all of a sudden, Cleveland came out of nowhere.
Right.
And then it was like, oh, it's Knicks and Cleveland, but they're favoring the Knicks, and like, yo, stop. Please stop bombarding me with this.
The whole narrative was Cleveland don't have enough draft picks to do the deal. And Danny Ainge loves draft picks. That was the narrative. And here we are.
And you have a negotiator, and that's how we knew about the negotiator. And it's like, what? Huh?
Hey, and AD, and guess what the word on the street is? The dude that botched that deal, the word on the street is they're going to make him the general manager.
Oh, Garrison? What's his name?
Yes. Oh. If they pick him over Allen Houston, bro, I'm coming on. I swear to you. Welcome to the Lakers at Night podcast. Welcome to Old School Lakers.
I'm here to tell you,
bro. I'm telling you, bro. If they put
Allen Houston is no better than a glorified liaison, and I hate to say that about a brother.
Yeah.
He's been in the organization. His post career is longer than his playing career so far.
Yeah, he's been with the organization.
Think about that.
Longer than he played with us. Yeah.
What does that mean? Do they value you as a real decision maker, a real mover and shaker? Right. I don't think so. I don't see it. So Garrison is already that guy. Because from what I was hearing, that over the last 6-7 months, they said Perry was just dead.
Right.
They wasn't listening to him at all. Like, this transition is, but high level executive transition don't just happen overnight. It's
right.
It's gonna take a little moment. But if he's the guy, oh God, and he was the person that didn't make this happen last year, and he's the one that's gonna sell you on a 2-year dream, you've got to be mad, Freezie.
Right. I know.
One playoff round win should not get you a 2-year dream fantasy of the same player that you did not draft, that you did not trade for last year, and somehow, some way, you're gonna hope that that Cleveland falls out of love with him, right, and does not want to offer him the bird exemption, right? and if they do still love him, you're hoping that he doesn't want to take the Larry Bird exemption to take your far less offer, because you can't offer him nowhere near what Cleveland would be able to offer him. This is the madness. That we are being sold every 2 damn years.
Right. I agree with you. I'm with you on it.
Who's giving up $100 million?
Right.
And Bird right to go sign. Did Melo sign with Chicago that time when he was a free agent?
No.
Chicago could only offer him like $70 million. He told them, see ya. I don't care what the hell he says now in afterlife. He was not walking away from $50 million.
No. Melo? Melo ain't walking for 25. It was like Chicago could only offer 4 years 100, and the Knicks could offer 5 at 125. And for people that think he would have left the Knicks for 4 for 100 when the Lakers offered him 4 for 100, and he could have played with Kobe. No, get out of here.
Stop doing that.
Get out of here.
Like some of these circumstantial evidence has to make sense to you as a fan.
Right.
It really does.
Right.
Like, why would he do that? He's got to be mad. He's literally, if Cleveland, it doesn't matter if Cleveland decided that they hated him. For the mere fact that they have his bird rights, they're on the table. How do you walk away from the bird rights? Plus, you got a whole new NBA agreement that's going to happen. So he may be on tap for some $300 million. I don't give a damn if they ain't got no champagne in the champagne room in Cleveland. He's not walking away from Cleveland. That damn money.
No, yeah.
If you don't trade for him, how are you going to get him?
And here's the other part too. Cleveland has an extra year to woo him to stay. Right? They have an extra year. And these are the type things that people forget. Like people don't remember these type things. Like all these things go into the equation.
At all.
Right? But I'm gonna say this. So if it's not Paul George, then is it Brandon Ingram? Is that what it is? That's what we're gonna do? So if it's not this guy, then who is it? And if it's not anyone, if there's no one else on the table, then what are we really doing out here? Yeah, y'all. Hey, man, listen, y'all hit that like button, man. Support the channel. Hit that like button.
We out here.
Yeah. Stay locked in with us. You know what I'm saying? We chopping it up.
I think I saw Dre, Worldwide West's best friend, out there in the chat. Salute.
Worldwide Dre in the building. Worldwide Dre in the house.
Salute everybody.
So do you trade for another? Is there a dynamic small forward out there that the Knicks can go trade for? If it's not Paul George.
I like OG. I've always liked OG. Injury history, yes, but a younger version. I started this 2 months, well, not even 2 months ago, when we got eliminated and we started initially talking about this. I'm like, look, I go to Toronto.
Right.
I think my first place where I'm seeking is in Toronto. I like OG. I like that aggressiveness that I think that we lack. We lack dogs, Freezie. That's another thing that we should really hit. We lack. Not everybody on this team has the Josh Hart kind of mentality or Brunson kind of mentality. Whether you think he got it done or not or whatever, but you need guys who are willing to get dirty in the paint.
Right.
You understand? You need guys to understand their assignments. True basketball awareness. I watched Game 6 again this morning in preparation for the show. And I'm like, Mitch Robinson, where were you exactly?
Yeah.
What, your lack of, big game, participation and so forth. It showed up a lot. So you need guys, you need some. That's why I wasn't willing to answer as far as just Paul George. I'm like, well, you may need to make some other moves here.
Yeah.
So you need guys that, has that kind of pedigree, that kind of. So even if it's not this year upcoming, you can see the natural progression that, all right, these guys are going to get better. Can you really see Mitch Robinson getting better?
At what?
As a basketball player, as an effect. Can you see Mitch Robinson next year being prime Gobert? Let's say that.
Not without Donovan Mitchell.
Now that says a lot. Because Gobert can be a double-double any day of the week.
Yeah.
Any day of the week. He's not the defender that he was 3-4 years ago, but is he still a top defender? Absolutely. When does Mitch get to that point? How long do you wait for him to do what he does at the very best
This is Mitchell Robinson. He's going into his 6th season as a Knick.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's fair to say he is who he is. 8.5 to 9 rebounds. He may play. What is he? Has he ever played over 30 minutes a game?
I
doubt it.
I don't know.
I doubt it. He's 24, 25 years old and has never played as much as 30 minutes a game. And you just gave him $60 million.
Yeah.
Come on now.
We got about $44 million left to pay for Mitch over the next 3 seasons?
Wow.
Something like that. So that's not terrible.
It's not terrible, but does he get better?
4 seasons? I don't know.
Does he get better? Every year there's something. 1 year he's getting used to the new muscles he got, blah 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 blah. Like he can't be the narrative.
Right. No, I don't disagree with you on that, AD. And for that reason, I'm telling you that you have to make a trade this summer. You got to get Zach LaVine or Donovan Mitchell or Paul George. Because these guys, listen, RJ Barrett is going into his 5th NBA season. Quentin Grimes is going into his 3rd NBA season, bro. Obi Toppin is going into his 4th NBA season.
Okay.
These cats are not spread. They're not the babies that they
once
were.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
At some point, I hate to say it like this, but you have to either poop or get off the pot.
Get off the pot. You can't be. Remember Boston a few years ago? It's like, Boston is stockpiling all these picks. Boston is stockpiling all things. Who cares?
And you know what those picks wound up doing? Rotting on the vine. Those picks wind up being guys like Romeo Langford. Those picks wind up being players like Aaron Nesmith.
It's a false sense of security.
Right. It's
a false sense of security, because I tell people all the time when I hear Knick people are so in love with picks, and I'm like, look, every year there's no more than 450 ball players in totality in the league.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And so what I'm saying, man, Knicks fans, bro. Knicks fans.
What's the chances you're gonna draft 4 guys in round 1 and all 4 of them make your team, Freezie?
Right. Right. For one, what's the odds on you drafting 4 and all 4 are going to be NBA players? What's the odds?
NBA players?
Yeah.
Contributors? No.
Right. And so let me say this in these last couple of minutes, just real quick before we get out of here.
We did already?
Yeah, man. What would I give up for Paul George? The picks that are not ours, I'm giving them to the Clippers. The Pistons pick, the Dallas pick, the Bucks pick, the Wizards pick, whichever 3 they want, I'm giving them 3 out of those 4. Right? I'm giving them. Will I give them RJ Barrett? Yes. Will I give them Grimes? Yes. Will I give them Obi? Definitely. Obi needs to change the scenery. Right? So those 3 picks and some combination of 2 or 3 of those players, but you can't have all of them. So would I be okay with say, and y'all know how I feel about Grimes. Y'all know I like Grimes a lot, right? So, but I would be okay with Grimes, Obi, and those 3 in those 3 picks. To me, I think that's a good offer for the Clippers. And if they want more than that, then I'm going to Philly and asking about Tobias Harris. And no, I don't want Tobias Harris, but I'm just doing it out of spite.
I saw his daddy had some interesting things to say in the article this past week.
No, I don't want Tobias. I do not want
I don't want him. Harris. I don't want Tobias neither. But if you forced me to make something like that, and Philly's willing to deal in conference, I would have to think about it. I'm like, look,
because you could pay less for Tobias Harris, and he'd fill in the gap.
I can't go into Brunson's next year with the likes of Fournier's as, and we're gonna issue this narrative that another year together.
Yeah, no.
Like, I started up our conversations talking about, I was watching old games, and I remember when they put Iverson and Carmelo together in Denver.
Oh my God!
And I watched that, right? After that train wreck of the first season, Iverson decided that, and Melo says this, like, yo, Iverson is averaging like 26, 27 points up until we traded him.
Yep.
Right? He went from being the second guy when he first got there, everything is mellow and blah, 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 and da-da-da-da, to when they come back next year and he's like, nah, F that. Yeah. I'm AI.
Right.
You can waste a superstar's prime because you think he's always going to be here.
Right. And when that went awry, it's not just AI. It went awry with the coach being a bad coach for them.
Yes. But their management, to their credit, once Chauncey Billups became available and that whole Dumars situation and his whatever, they couldn't wait to make that trade.
They couldn't wait
to make that trade. Carmelo said Kobe called him and was like, now you got a real point guard.
Yep.
Now you got the real deal. And the only thing was that Chauncey was still on the back end of his career, but they got to that Western Conference Finals and blah, 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 blah. But it was a major difference than when he was there versus when AI was there.
Yeah.
They weren't wasting Melo's prime. They were actually trying to progress.
Martin not going one-on-one. J.R. Smith not hijacking quarters.
Oh my God.
They got a point guard to.
Yeah.
They're not playing Aaron Aflalo and was it Dante Jones? Dante Jones, J.R. Smith.
Dante Jones is on that team. They had that Denver team was a good team.
Yeah.
That Denver team they had Birdman. That Denver team was a good team, but that Denver team it had a little, not even a little, I'm being kind. It had a lot of immaturity. A lot of immaturity. But that Denver team, 2009, 2010 Denver, that was a good team. But Melo wasn't able to get him over that hump and so forth. But they did make the right move for that team at that time.
Yeah, man.
Yes, sir. But we're up on it, sir. So as we leave out here, what are we leaving with this? Are we expecting for Paul George to be here next week? Are you expecting for July 1st to hear that Paul George was traded to the Knicks?
No. I'm hearing, this is what I expect. I expect Knicks PR to be the summertime GOAT as usual. Knicks PR is the best player in the organization for the Knicks. I'm expecting the Knicks to do nothing but spin it in a way that is so Disney and family friendly, you'll want to make a movie about it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
are we there? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Part 3.
I expect us to miss out on Zach LaVine and I expect us to miss out on Zach LaVine and Paul George, but give quickly a massive contract extension, and that be the story of the summer.
I just don't. And quickly,
that's the move. We're not going to get Paul George. We're not going to get Zach LaVine, but we're going to give Emmanuel Quickly 4 years, $117 million, and re-sign Josh Hart. Josh Hart is gonna opt into. Listen, I've been saying it the whole time. The best thing for the Knicks to do, Josh Hart opt in, and we extend you, because if you opt out, you look selfish.
Yes.
So if he opts in and we extend him, he looks like a team player, and he still get the bag. But if he opts out, he looks like he want to explore free agency and explore his options. And then maybe the Knicks bring him in on less money.
Well, Freezie, another day of as the Nick turns. As the world next week will be when we meet. Oh wow, hold on. Next week will be July 1st. So next week we will actually start the week off with Nick free agency and pandemonium. And are they going to do something? Are they not going to do something? I just hope that, it's not what it was last year.
Right.
That because as I think about it, and sometimes it's hard to kind of put yourself back into that frame of mind and so forth. I did not like who I became last year, July.
Amen.
Heading into all, it was really,
Thanks,
I just when they didn't get Donovan last year, I really saw no until they got Brunson. When they got Brunson, I was willing to at least take myself off the ledge.
Right.
But I didn't like myself last year at this time and so forth. And hopefully it'll be better and they will, progress or start the progression.
Right.
Or should I say take the ball down the hoop just a little bit further, and maybe maybe we strike, we get lucky, strike lightning in the ball and so forth and all that.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna get out of here. Thank y'all for watching. Appreciate y'all.
Absolutely. Look for us in the whirlwind. Garvey.
Peace, y'all.